Hey everyone, it is Willa. Welcome back. I wanted to talk on the topic of forgiveness, specifically because I've been reading this book called The Power of Your Dreams by Stephanie Ike Okafor. If you know, you know, she's amazing and the book is so good. I've been wanting to read this book for the past few months now, but I just finished my other book I was reading, so that was definitely my next read. A lot of people will be like, oh, I don't dream at nighttime, and one thing she talks about is forgiveness, and that a lot of people don't dream at night because they have unforgiveness in their heart. One of the ways she describes forgiveness, and obviously she uses biblical knowledge to back it up, she speaks about forgiveness as you understanding that somebody is hurt and their hurt has allowed the enemy to come in and do whatever that action was against you to try to also hurt you. It's when somebody is hurt in some area of their life and they're kind of leaving the door open for the enemy to come in, and the enemy sees that this person is hurt in this area and they can influence them very easily into acting in some type of way, behaving some way, influencing their mentality to then do something that causes harm also to you. I feel like it's weird because when you get a little bit older, you kind of look back at certain situations and you're like, what the heck, like that was so wrong, like that was so wrong of that person to do that, or that was so wrong of me to do that. And you go through this battle of like forgiving the person when you have gained a new level of knowledge. And I'm sure that this is probably going to happen throughout our whole entire time period of life. We're going to look back at certain situations because you always develop and evolve your mentality, and with the new mentality that you have, you're going to perceive a situation that differently than when you did have the mentality that you were in that situation. And one of those things that arises is knowing how to forgive and how to properly forgive. Forgiveness isn't oh, I forgot about it, it's whatever, it happened. That's not what forgiveness is. But forgiveness is actually making peace with the situation, and there's a few ways that you can do that. I think one of the worst things about forgiveness for me is how it's kind of all up to you. Like, you have to know how to forgive to release a situation, because if you continue to hold anger and resentment, that obviously just builds up within you and it causes more harm to yourself than it does for that other person. You are not the judge, right? You can't judge other people's behaviors and what other people do with their life. You are not in that position to seek revenge and to do things that will practically make you feel like, okay, they got what they deserved. That's not your job. And it should never be at the front of your mind for that to be your job. But your number one job is to forgive that person. Because if you walk around with that anger and that hurt inside your heart, you're letting the enemy win, and you're letting his attack actually be successful, which was the whole reason why he walked through that door and the other person in the first place. The enemy tries to hurt as many people as he can at one time, and if he can get through somebody that is already hurt to hurt you, that is exactly what he's going to do. You may be somebody that has gotten teachings that somebody else hasn't, or you have knowledge that somebody else doesn't. So when somebody does something, you kind of look at it like, oh my gosh, be so for real. Like, why would you ever do something like that? Like, that is so wrong. That's so disrespectful. Forgiveness does not mean that you have to keep that person in your life. You can forgive and you can release them and set a boundary and go on about your life, but you have to release what that action was that did hurt you, or what that person did, because at the end of the day, they were influenced by the enemy. And that's why it's easier to operate from a place of love and actual kindness, because at the end of the day, when you do, you genuinely win. When you operate in forgiveness and love and kindness all the time, you win at life. I would tell myself a lot of the times, like, I have to stop looking at the word forgiveness and thinking that like this is something where I just have to be like okay with what this person did. Because a lot of the times when we're told about forgiving somebody, it's like, oh, be nice or be kind, or, you know, don't allow what this person did to get you upset. And it's like, that's so unfair, because what somebody did to you or whatever happened to you is so valid for you to react with anger and sadness and frustration and resentment. It is so normal, because that is betrayal. That is a spirit of betrayal happening. And for you to be like, oh, I forgive and I forget and we move on, like, no, that's not okay, and it's not a healthy way to go about it, because at the end of the day, even if you do try to like forget it and just like suppress it and brush over it, it's going to build up, and eventually it's going to manifest into something bigger and deeper, and that is not what we want. But rather, when you're trying to forgive somebody, look at it from a point of like, wow, this person is actually really hurt, and they're hurt enough to be able to do X, Y, and Z. Looking at people's actions and the reason why they do certain things is never enough justification to be able to be like, okay, I forgive this person for it. And that is why it is so hard to exercise forgiveness and to be like, okay, I'm releasing this hurt from this person, because you're like, you want to ponder on it. You want to like think about it all the time. Like, why did this person do this? Like, why did this person do this? But there's never going to be an exact answer. Your biggest answer that you're going to get is the fact that this person was hurt, and they allowed for the enemy to come in and influence their behavior to not only hurt themselves, but also hurt you in the process. And that's just how the enemy operates. Again, he tries to get as many people as he can at once. And if he can get in through somebody to affect the people around them, that's exactly what's going to happen. While I was reading this book, and I started to learn that when you have unforgiveness in your heart, the Lord can't always speak to you in your dreams, was so interesting to me, because that just goes to show how much of a weight unforgiveness has in your life. I know so many people that have walked in life with unforgiveness in their heart, and how much it has weighed them down. It has manifested into sicknesses. It has caused so much like negative energy to surround them, until like one day they were just so fed up with their life, and they were so fed up with being angry and living in the way that they were living, that they decided to forgive people and lead with a lot of love and kindness. And at the root of forgiveness is obviously love. Loving somebody so much that you see their hurt as not their own, but as an impact of, you know, what they've gone through, or, you know, what they're battling with. But also loving them so much that you don't absorb that. You allow them to work on what they need to work on, and love them from a distance, and set your boundary and go on about your way. Forgiveness is truly so lightheartening. It is the key, I feel like, to life, because the moment you forgive somebody for what they have done to you is the moment you release yourself and your mentality, your mind, like your mind from like being so congested or like ruminating about the situation, and you're like, you know what, I'm releasing myself from this. The enemy can no longer have a stronghold on me. The enemy can no longer use this situation to get me upset, to get me angry, to get me frustrated, to get me sad. He can no longer use it, because I no longer allow it to have power over me by using forgiveness. And by forgiving, I'm releasing the situation. I'm releasing whatever stronghold that situation did have on me. And if it is as serious as enough as you are releasing that person, the enemy no longer has access to hurt you through that person anymore. Not everything that happens in life and that gets you upset needs a level of forgiveness where you have to set a boundary and no longer talk to that person anymore. Not everything is that severe, but there are situations that end up causing a lot of hurt along the road and on the long run, and that cause hardened hearts. And that is the one thing the Lord does not want. He wants us to lead with a good heart posture, and a good heart posture requires us to lead with love and to lead kindness and happiness and all the fruits of the Holy Spirit. But we cannot do that when we're holding on to unforgiveness, because unforgiveness is just, it's going to create and fester so many other things, like hatred and anger and resentment and envy, jealousy. And those are what the enemy uses to expand his kingdom and expand his plans that he got going on. We don't want that. Forgiveness is not very easy. It is definitely something that takes time and practice, like anything does when you are learning and growing in life. And it is so freeing. When you learn how to forgive, you genuinely learn how to take back your power in so many ways. And on this channel, I talk about how we can be abundant in so many areas of our life with just the new mentalities that we have and that we strive for while we are evolving and growing and learning. And forgiveness is one of those key, powerful things. It is so rooted in love. And I've made a video, I think a year ago, when I was like speaking about the key to love or something, or the key to life is love, because it genuinely is. Loving others and loving yourself is so powerful. Love is the highest frequency, you can genuinely transform any situation with just pure love and leading with passion in your heart. And that's all that we want in this life, because if you continue to do that, you're going to spread it to other people. You're going to continue to abundant yourself and others, and that is exactly what we want. I wanted to jump on here, make a quick little video. I watch my videos back sometimes and I'm like, girl, get to the point, because usually I have like one specific point that I really do want to bring up, but there's just so much like information surrounding it, and I want to try to inform you guys in the best way possible. But also, like, sometimes I think the more simple things are, the easier it is to digest and the easier it is to remember them. Like, when you get an understanding about something, there's no reason to like complicate it. There's no reason to like try to be like, oh, you have to do X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z, when life is supposed to be simple. It's supposed to be just, you know, black and white, and go about the things that you need to do. But sometimes we overcomplicate it just way too much, and I didn't want to do that in today's video. I wanted to talk about forgiveness and how forgiveness is just genuinely purely freeing for your soul, and it is going to bring so much abundance and joy into your life, and you genuinely deserve that. But also how to forgive. That way of looking at forgiveness completely changed a lot of, I think, ways that I was forgiving people, because I do forgive people from a sense that is like, okay, you know what, it's their hurt, not mine. But also to understand that like that person is probably experiencing more pain than you could ever imagine, is like, wow, I just send love your way. Like, I send love your way for that behavior that has been caused. And even if you look at situations from yourself, like, I know that there are so many situations where I have asked the Lord for forgiveness, and I always realize that those situations have come from a place when I was hurt, I was broken down, I didn't feel like my actual genuine self. And to know that and to have the love for somebody else is just so powerful. Forgiveness is not an easy thing, but it also doesn't need to be complicated, and you deserve to have your power back. You deserve to release yourself from whatever troubles are being caused within you from that situation. But yeah, love is amazing. It is so powerful. It's rooted in everything. And as you continue to walk in your journey of life, your evolution, your growth, continue to love, show love, spread love, and be love. But I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching today's video, and I will see you in another one. Bye.